Before we begin, I'd like to apologize for being on this shitty hiatus for like 2 weeks. I've been really busy with my last 2 weeks of the semester and some stuff in real life. However, for the next 2 weeks, which are the last 2 of 2015, I will have quite a few videos coming out. Next week you can expect some Cypher openings and a Christmas special, and then the week after that I'll have a few fight videos and then the New Year special, so I hope you look forward to it. Now, getting into this video, which is the belated Clan Booster 02. So this is the Aquaforce Clan Booster, which kind of destroyed the game for a lot of people, especially for those that like having their decks based on Generation Break or Legion. So, since this booster set contains support for a lot of archetypes in Aquaforce, I'm going to split up how I talk about the set. So first off, I'll talk about more the Thavas deck, and then I'll talk about Blue Storm, Blue Wave, and then finally Ripples, the cancer of the game. So the GR of the set is Storm Dominator Commander Thavas, and he's also the main big support for the Thavas deck. So his skill, he's good as a first stride and also as a whenever you want stride, I guess. His skill is a once per turn persona flip, and you give your rear guard plus 5k and the ability to attack from the back row. And then if it's you have GB3 or more, then when one of your units attacks a Vanguard and it's wave 4th or more, then you get the Thavas effect of basically your opponent chooses 3 rear guards, or you choose 3 rear guards, and then your opponent decides to which one they want to retire. So he's pretty good because he incorporates both Thavas and the nice little back row attacking ability, which is quite nice. So he's good as a first stride because he gives you another attack basically from the back row, and he's also good as a later stride because of the retire effect. Wave is a new mechanic that was introduced in the set for Aquaforce. This mechanic basically means that Wave is like the number of attacks in that turn. So wave 1 is the first attack of the turn, wave 2 is the third, and so on. So some abilities will say like wave 2, so that means the ability will only work on the second attack of that turn. But if it says something like wave 3 or more, then that means that attack will work on the third attack or more of that unit that has the effect. One of the main supports for the Thavas deck is Adelaide. No, not that one. This Adelaide, who's basically a Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, GB1 on call. She becomes an 11k attacker that withstands. So she's kind of like Magnum Assault, except it's not an Amber, but rather the Glimmer Breath, I believe, clone. So yeah, she's pretty good. She's good for Thavas, but you know, it's only a once per turn withstanding effect. So it's a bit sad because the following turn after she's called, she becomes just a 9k vanilla. Units in the Thavas deck often have resist, and this is not an exception with Millennia. She's a GB1 wave 3rd time or more, and when she attacks, and bear in mind she's a grade 1 with 7k, so when she attacks you can Counterblast 1 if your Vanguard is a Thavas, and if you do, you draw a card and she gets plus 5. So she becomes a 12k attacker and you draw a card, so I see her as pretty capable for the Thavas deck. And the Thavas deck did get a new starter in Mitros, which has a GB1 ability, which is wave 3rd or more, and basically when your Vanguard attacks, and if your Vanguard is a Thavas, then you put this card in the soul and search for a Thavas, well, grade 3 Thavas, you call it, and then at the end of the turn, you put it back to your hand. So basically you get a free attack and you get free stride fodder at the end of the turn. So he's a pretty okay starter, but Aquaforce does have better ones. Moving on to Blue Storms, this is one of Bushiroad's favorite archetypes for Aquaforce, I think, because they used to get a lot of support throughout the game, and it was the first kind of capable build for Aquaforce at the start of the game. But Blue Storm's got a big nice new card, which is Maelstrom in Break Ride form. So what the Break Ride does is when you Break Ride, you Counterblast 1, and then it has a wave effect, so wave 4th or more. And when this unit attacks a Vanguard, you draw a card, you retire one of your opponent's rear guards, and your opponent cannot call grade 0 cards from hand to Guardian Circle. This combos really well with Glory Maelstrom because basically with Glory Maelstrom's effect and this Maelstrom Break Ride's effect, your opponent can't guard whatsoever. So if you're there at 5 damage and they don't get any heals, you've won the game. Now, Maelstrom's other skill is when he hits a Vanguard on wave 3rd or more, then you search your deck for a Maelstrom, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So this also combos really well with the old starter of Blue Storms, which is Marios, who's The effect is similar to Maelstrom's second effect. Instead of searching the whole deck for a Maelstrom card, he just looks at the top 5. But still, you on hit, you have the potential of getting 2 Right 3s in your hand, which means 2 turns of striding or break riding. Since it's a blue storm, I thought I might as well mention it here. Aquafor's got a new Perfect Guard in Homerus, and his normal break ride, he's a normal Perfect Guard, so he doesn't actually unflip or anything like that, but his second skill is quite different because he has a wave 3rd or more skill, where at the end of the battle that he boosted, and if your Vanguard is a blue storm, you Soul Blast 1 and return him to hand. Imagine if Gold Paladin or Royal Paladin or anything that's Superior Calls had this card. It's really, really nice, and you can easily just call your Perfect Guards without wasting them and then guard with them the following turn. So this is a really good Perfect Guard, and if your Blue Storm build does not counterblast too much, why not play him? The last cute little card for Blue Storms is Theta, and she's a grade 1 7k, and she's basically a 12k attacker. Her first skill is when you have a Vanguard with Maelstrom in its name, she becomes a 9k attacker, and then wave second time only, she gains another 3k when your Vanguard is a Maelstrom, so equaling up to 12. So she's 12k attacker at grade 1, so it's pretty good. She gains +5 from attacking for no counterblast or anything, so she can be pretty nice, although I haven't tested too much with Blue Storms to know if there's space for her or not. This a big pot. Anyway, Blue Waves are an archetype that I didn't expect to become an archetype, really, because first of all, it was just kind of tetra-drive dragon doing his thing, and I never really noticed that he was a blue wave, so I was like, what? When they revealed the first blue wave support, I was like, you mean Blue Storm, right? This is a typo. Oh no, wait, there's an actual thing. So, the very first blue wave, I believe, was Tetra-Drive Dragon, but now we have quite a few different ones, and I'll be starting off with Anger Boil Dragon. So, he's kind of like a Blaster Dart Diablo-ish, like not the skills exactly, but the way they're kind of written, I guess. So, his GB2 is wave second only, and when he attacks a Vanguard, he gains +5 until end of turn, and then you can stand one of your rear guards and give it +10 until end of turn. He kind of combines the strengths of Lambros in that second part, and I don't even know what in the first part, but it's pretty good GB2. But his other skill is when Tetra Boil Dragon strides on top of him, so just one specific unit, you can give your Vanguard +3 power, and a wave second time only, that when the unit attacks a Vanguard, you stand 2 of your rear guards and give them +3k each. So this is a really good card, and I have to immediately go into Tetra Boil Dragon because they are a combo card. But Tetra Boil Dragon is a really good stride, and in my opinion really undercosted, because usually with restanding Vanguards, like they either cost 2 counterblast and 2 discards, or 1 counterblast and discard 3, or 3 counterblast and discard 1, like it always balances out. So how Tetra Boil works is that when he attacks a Vanguard and your heart is a blue wave, you can counterblast 1 and Persona Flip, and he loses a drive check. So like most of the Persona flipping strides that restand. And then he gains the skill that wave 4th time only, you discard a card. And at the end of the battle that your rear guard attacked the Vanguard, you can stand Tetra Boil Dragon. So why I say this is undercosted, because you're paying a counterblast 1 and Soul Blast, you're paying counterblast 1 and discard 1. While most cards have been counterblast 2, discard 2. So this is really undercosted in my opinion, and it's a super good card. And it's a shame that Blue Waves suffer from being kind of restricted to Generation Break, but this card is insanely good, and like it's so undercosted in my opinion, and getting the skill off is pretty damn easy for the deck. So this stride is really, really good. Bright Shooter is a support card for Blue Wave, and as the name suggests, Blue Waves are all about the wave mechanic. So his skill is wave 4th time or more, and at the end of the battle that he boosted, if you have a Vanguard with Blue Wave, you take a grade 3 from your drop zone and put it into your hand. Like, just like that. So you get your free strides and whatnot, so you can stride and then use Bright Shooter skill to get back the stride fodder. So it's a really, really nice grade 1 to have for the deck. Now some cards are not exactly blue waves, but because they have the wave mechanic, I'm just going to fit them in all into the blue wave category. But Battle Silent Chloris, whose first translation was Clitoris, has two effects. The first of which is wave 4th time or more. When she boosts, you Soul Blast 1 and bind the top card of your deck face up. And her second skill is what uses the binded cards. Basically, at the beginning of the guard step of the battle your unit was attacked, you choose any number of face-up cards from your bind zone, and you can call them to Guardian Circle as rest, and those units get power plus 5000 until end of that battle. So even if you bind like grade 3s, they'll still be guarding for 5k, which is an interesting kind of addition of a guard mechanic to the deck, and she also looks like a Kansai collection card kind of unit thing. The new starter for blue waves is Dagger Master Draco Kid. Basically, counts 1 GB1, put him in the soul, and you give your blue wave Vanguard the skill to... It's made just for tetra-drive and tetra boil. Basically, on the second attack, so wave second time or more, when this unit attacks the Vanguard, you draw a card, and then wave 5th time or more, when this unit attacks the Vanguard, he gains a crit until end of that battle. So basically, when your Tetra Boil attacks for the second time, then you draw a card, and then when it attacks again after restanding, it attacks with another crit. So the starter is really good exactly for that deck. Another supporting card is Foivos. He's basically when you attack, wave 3rd time only, you counterblast 1 if you have a blue wave Vanguard, and then he can get plus 2k, and at the end of the battle that he attacks, you stand him. So he's an 11k attacker that can attack twice. So similar to Adelaide for Stavas. Now there's like a grade 1, a grade 2, and a grade 3 that all do basically the same thing, so I'm just going to cover the grade 2. So this is Marine General of Sonic Speed Nectarios, and he has GB1 and wave 1st or 2nd time, so it's just restricted to those. And the skill's kind of long, so I'll just read it out. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, you can Soul Blast 1. If you do, he becomes an 11k attacker until the end of that battle, and at the end of the battle, you could look at top 4 of your deck, you search for one card with the wave ability from among them and call it to the same rearguard circle this unit is on. So you call over him and put the rest of the units you looked on top of your deck, you put them on the bottom of your deck in any order you want. And then if you call the card on top of him, you put Nectarios on the bottom of your deck. So instead of having him retired, he goes to the bottom. So there's a grade 1, grade 2, and a grade 3 of this that do exactly the same thing, but I don't really consider them that amazing, but at least the grade 2 looks really good. A little tech that I see in a lot of Aquaforce decks is Dispatch Mission Seagull Soldier. His first skill is GB1 wave 4th time or more, and at the end of the battle that he boosted, you return him to hand. Then his second skill is when he's called, you can Soul Blast 1 and give one of your other units plus 3k until end of turn. So he's basically a reusable plus 3k on call, so it's pretty good, and I've seen a lot of people just tech him in as a 1 of or 2 of in their Aquaforce decks. And finally, Blue Waves got their own crits in Brutal Trooper, who's basically an X skill. You put him on top of your deck, and if your Vanguard is a blue wave, you give your Vanguard the skill, wave second time or more. When it attacks a Vanguard, you draw a card. So it's a pretty good crit, just gives you draws, goes back to deck, you can reuse him, nice stuff. Because Blue Wave doesn't usually play Legion, so you can put back your triggers through him. We have reached true cancer. It's called nipples. I mean ripples. The Ripple deck changed the Vanguard pretty hard, to say the least. Basically, if you have not heard the rage and screaming and death and agony all over the Vanguard player base, Ripples are basically the biggest anti-meta while also the biggest meta deck. So everybody had to adapt their decks and everybody had to change their lineups and grade 3s and everything just to be able to deal with this deck. Because if you're running G generation breaks and legions in the same deck, you're pretty much dead. So why are Ripples so deadly and retarded, you ask me? Allow me to begin from the very start. Thundering Ripple Genovius is an old card that belongs to Riot Chain all the way from BT11. His skill itself is not that overwhelming. At the end of the battle that he attacked to Vanguard, and if the number of Aquaforce rest units in your front row is 3, you can pay the cost, which is Counterblast 2 and Persona Blast. If you do, you stand all your Aquaforce rearguards, and it's a limit break. Pretty meh, right? It's not that great of an ability, is it? I mean, we can take a look at his Riot Chain and see what's so amazing in there. Why don't we take a look at the grade 2, which is Rising Ripple Pavroth. when his attack hits a Vanguard, if you have the grade 1 of the right chain in the soul, you can stand one of your Aquaforce rearguards and give it +3 power until end of turn. It's not that great because you're only usually sitting on a grade 2 for 1 turn, right? No, he was wrong, bitch! Welcome to the shittiest goddamn card in the game, and I swear to god this is actual cancer. Flash Ripple Odysseus. Oh god, this thing is retarded. Bushiroad, what were you thinking? How Flash Ripple Odysseus works, you know, let me just read it out for you. You'll learn it that way. So it's a once per turn effect, and you can choose one of your other rearguards and put it into your soul. That's the cost of the ability. You search your deck for up to one card with Ripple in its card name with the same grade as your Vanguard, write it as stand, and shuffle your deck. So it's kind of like that one Zeal card, right? Except it's an act once per turn, so that means you can do it over and over again for as many of Odysseus as you have. And it's not even an on-call skill because it's an act. Now let's keep going. If you road, you choose up to one card not named Flash Ripple Odysseus with the same grade as your Vanguard from your soul, hold to rearguard circle, and it gains plus 2000 power until end of turn. Bushiroad, what have you done to this game? You know what this began? You know what this card did to the game? Because the metagame was so reliant on Generation Break and Legion, which means that both yours and your opponent's Vanguards must be at grade 3, it made the Ripple deck this. They ride grade 2, they do their Odysseus shit, and they stay on grade 2 and make so much advantage because of Odysseus. And it's not supposed to make that much advantage, but there's crap like Turtle Soldier, which basically on call, look at the top card, if it's a grade 2 or a grade 1, superior call it. So you can you can stay on grade 2, call out Turtle Soldiers, and potentially +1. But then then like I'm coming back to Pavroth, and suddenly his effect is not just gonna happen once per game. He's gonna be sitting there for like 5-6 turns until he's drained your hand enough and you're crying and dying and whatnot. Like, Jesus Christ, I haven't even gotten to the new grade 3 yet, have I? I'm just going on about the grade 2 game. And then there's another Ripple, which is Unruly Ripple Lapis, and when he attacks, if you have 2 or more Ripple rearguards that are rested, he gets +3k until end of turn. But because it's end of turn, that means it stacks, so he can attack with 12, you can withstand him with Pavroth, and then he'll get in +3 again, and then you can, with Odysseus, you can give him a +2, and it's just so much potential in this goddamn deck. I like it, it's a nice deck, but it's also retarded, like how good this is at just staying at grade 2 and not doing jack shit. We can look at the crit, which is Ripple of Demise, Orest. Basically, at the end of battle that he boosted, if you have 2 or more other Ripple units that are rested, you can put him on the bottom of your deck. If you do, you look at top 5 of cards of your deck, you search for a card with Ripple in its card name. From among them, you show it to your opponent, put it into your hand. You look at top 5 for a Ripple and put it into your hand. Jesus Christ, you can search out like so much of the deck because you're just playing all these Ripples. You have 2 different grade 2 Ripples, you have the grade 1 Ripple. Jesus Christ, you have 2 grade 1 Ripples because of goddamn Odysseus. You have all your grade 3s are Ripples. Like, Jesus Christ, this is just ripping through your ass, literally. This deck can be so annoying to play against that my file name for Odysseus is Odysseus, you piece of shit. But let's calm down and talk about the other things that support Ripples, like their new grade 3 witch legions with Genovius, which is Rolling Ripple Miltiadis. Basically, you're not going to be riding him until you're sure you're going to kill your opponent that very turn. It's something along those lines. And let's just go over his skills before I go over some of the combos people like to do. His first skill is, when he attacks a Vanguard, if you're in Legion and you have 3 or more units that are rested in your front row, you choose up to one of your rearguards, stand it, and unflip 1, so countercharge 1. Then, if you have 3 or more units that are rested in your back row, you draw a card. Pretty cool, right? And because he legions with Genovius, if from that skill's draw 1 you get a Genovius, you can Persona Blast. So, I mean, it's top deck, but, you know, still. Other skill is, when you ride him you can count +1, and you check top 3 cards of your deck for a Ripple. And you put the rest into your drop zone, fueling your Legion. So, this card, like, it's not OP on its own, but, you know, it stands rear guards, it draws cards, and it searches for ripples, so it can be pretty annoying. And the ripple support doesn't even end there, and that's the most annoying thing, because they have a Stride, which is Surging Ripple Prodromos, which is arguably one of the worst ripple cards considering what they have, like Odysseus. So basically, when he hits a Vanguard and your heart is a Ripple, you can Persona Flip. So it's a conditional Persona Flip. If you do, you look at top 5 of your deck, you search for a Ripple, call it to a rearguard circle, and shuffle your deck. So I mean, he's cool, he gives pressure, but you know, pressure doesn't always do well when you've got all the pressure on grade 2, and by the time you ride grade 3 or Stride, the game is pretty much over. To the Ripple players, don't worry, I'm not actually mad at you. I actually do like the deck itself. I have played around with it a bit, but it's just, I know what the community is thinking, and I felt like channeling what the community thinks about this deck. So this clan booster has a ton of support for all kinds of Aquaforce decks, even the one nobody thought would get support, which is Ripples, and arguably they have by far the best support. Sadly, the metagame has shifted, people have adjusted, and it's not as scary anymore as it was at the start when Ripples were winning everything, because now Limit Break just kind of became relevant again, which is a good thing, because now people are not relying on their Legions and Generation Breaks anymore. Instead, they're running Break Rides, they're running Limit Break cards, and you know, they're just trying, like, some decks that rely on Limit Break are winning again, and like when Chaos Breaker makes its comeback in the next set, it's gonna be the biggest the hope crusher of Ripples, because they just can't deal with it. So thank you guys for watching this set breakdown. I'm sorry that it's a bit over a week late, but I've just been really busy, and I'm still very happy that you guys support me so much. And I'm gonna be in these next 2 weeks of holidays, I'm gonna be giving all my love back to you guys with a bunch of videos, so look forward to them. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.